I'm back. Hi lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited, oh my goodness. So I hope you're all doing really well. Please do let me know how you are in the comments below, because I've missed you. I've missed uploading. If you don't follow me over on Instagram, then I haven't seen you for a while. If you would like to follow me, it's at I am Kirsty Lewis. But today we are back with a psychic celebrity Q&A. I know what I said. I changed my mind. And you have free reign to change your mind in your life. That is part of growth and evolution. Your girl visited LA recently, land of Hollywood and fame, and I was like, you know what? There's so much vibes here. I need to do a celebrity reading. So from this point forward, I'm going to upload whatever I want on this channel. Obviously spirituality and psychic related. Might be a celebrity reading, might be a spirituality topic, might be whatever. I'm just going to go with the flow. I asked you to send in your questions regarding any famous persons, celebrities into my Instagram or on my YouTube community page, and so today I'm going to be channeling the messages through spirit and answering them for you. If you enjoy this video, please hit a lovely thumbs up. I will be doing more of these, so if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer, just comment them down below. Subscribe if you haven't already to join our lovely community, and if you would like your own personal and private reading with me, you can book that over on my website. It's www.kirstielewisreadings.com, which is the only place you can book a reading with me. No other place. Okay, let's get into it. So excited. So let's kick this off with a question that probably everyone wants to know the answer to. I don't say who sent these in, so let's just go. Is Kanye truly crazy? Kanye is not well, and I feel like we all know that. And you know, spirit makes me feel like Kanye doesn't have like truly bad intentions. His intentions aren't bad, and crazy is not really the word that they would use to describe it. He is not well, and there is help that is needed. However, there is an element that spirit makes me feel that there is truth through some of what Kanye says. It's just he doesn't voice his opinions in a way that people can hear. I'm not going to say he doesn't voice it in the right way, because that's not what spirit is saying. Spirit is saying he doesn't voice it in a way that people can truly understand. So when he says something, he means it in well intention and in good intention, but it's reciprocated in a different way, and it's not voiced in the way that he maybe intends for it to come out in his mind. However, Kanye is also carrying a lot of trauma, a lot of undealt with trauma from his mother passing, and I know people say don't use it as an excuse, but grief strikes people in different ways. There's also things I feel that happened in his marriage that contributed to some mental instabilities, and this is what spirit makes me feel. I just feel like it's not that he's crazy, it's just that he has a different way of communicating. He also is battling illness, he's battling trauma, he's very much on his own as well, stubborn and won't let people speak. So yeah, it may be perceived as crazy, but that's not really his intention. So from spirit's perspective, it's a no, he's not crazy. So many of you asked this question, and before we get into this, Barbs, if you're watching, I need you to understand, and I give this disclosure and disclaimer with every time I read for Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is human, okay? Just like every other person, she has her own faults, her own flaws, her own trauma. So before we get into reading Nicki Minaj, because I know the Barbs get very heated about it, just want to put that out there. A lot of you asked this, which is, and I haven't seen any of this, so I'm a bit confused. But your girl hasn't really been keeping up with pop culture, so that may be why. Someone asked, Nicki Minaj and the female rappers have been arguing. Will this result in physical fights? And someone else asked, like, what is going on with Nicki Minaj? Why is she having so many issues with female rappers? I have touched on this before in readings with Nicki Minaj. I feel like Nicki Minaj struggles to have relationships with females. Spirit is saying that a lot of Nicki Minaj's validation came from that moment in time where she really was the it girl in rap. She was the only girl in rap. When she came through with female bass, super bass, she was the only female rapper at that time. And Spirit made me feel that a lot of her validation and her worth and her worth came from the external validation that people gave her, like, you're the best, you're you're the best female rapper there is, and all of that. And she definitely was at that moment in time. But we're now in a stage of time where there's so many different female rappers out there, you know, Megan Thee Stallion, Doja Cat, and Nicki Minaj still very much wants to be a part of that. But Spirit is drawing it back to Lil' Kim. Like, Lil' Kim at her time was the it girl, and we love Lil' Kim, she's legendary. We love Nicki Minaj, she's legendary as well for what she did for music. However, there's this thing that Nicki Minaj wants to hold on to that. She wants to stay number one. And I feel like with Nicki Minaj, sometimes she can come, it's jealousy. It's jealousy, and a lot of you will be like, no. But the reality is that she wants to stay on top, she wants to stay number one, but there comes a point where you do have to step down and allow other people to have their moment. And I really do feel with Nicki Minaj that that's what it is. A lot of these petty arguments and petty fights are she feels she's not getting the validation, the recognition that she feels she deserves. You know, I feel a lot of that is why that whole Cardi B feud happened, because, you know, she felt like, oh, my spot's being taken. You know, Nicki Minaj stepped back from the spotlight for a while, and I feel like her validation, her self-worth, it was kind of taken away when some of these other females stepped into the spotlight. And that doesn't mean she doesn't want to support them, it doesn't mean that she's not for females, because I do actually feel that she is. I do feel she wants to see other females succeed, but I feel like she doesn't want to see them succeed at the full and diminishment of her own, diminishment's not a word, but at the full of her own career. And I feel like that's what a lot of it comes from. It comes from insecurity. So will Beyonce and Jay-Z get a divorce? They look really distant in photos. I do not feel that Beyonce and Jay-Z will ever divorce, because the reality is I feel like there is some soul contract these two have signed, whether it be in this life or a previous life. They're like this, and no matter how unhappy they are, and I do feel there is an element of unhappiness in the marriage, not saying completely, but I do feel it's there. I don't see them ever divorcing. I do not feel like that is an option at all, not on the table. Selena Gomez and finding love after heartbreak. Will she have a family like she always wanted? Oh, Miss Selena. I talked about this before, I think in a reading I did just for Selena, and I do still see this guy there for her in the industry, quite soft and gentle. I feel like he's quite a soft and gentle character. Dark hair, I feel like he's an actor, and I feel like Spirit is saying that Selena Gomez is quite goofy and quite quirky. She likes to be playful, she likes to have fun, and she needs someone that matches her on that level. Sometimes we need people that are opposite to us to bring things out of us, but I feel like Selena needs someone who's on that level to kind of bring more of that side out of her, because I feel like through everything that she's been through, Spirit makes me feel like she's kind of put the barriers up and hid that side away. She doesn't want to portray that goofy, fun, quirky side of her so much anymore, because she's scared. Like, she's scared of judgment, she's scared of getting hurt. Especially I feel where love and relationships were concerned. Spirit does just take me back to Justin Bieber. It was a very serious, intense relationship. Not all the time, but definitely I feel towards the end it became very uptight, and she lost that sense of self. She lost that sense of being able to have fun and be herself and be that goofy person. So I feel this man is definitely there. He feels the same age as her, maybe a teeny bit older, like a year older or so, but I do feel like he's an actor. Spirit show me, and I don't know if it is this guy or maybe he just looks like this guy. There was a guy, I feel like he was in Vampire Diaries or something like that. I didn't watch that, so I don't know. He had like a quiff brown hair. He has that kind of vibe. Very soft and gentle character. I do feel her settling down with someone long term. I do feel like that's what Selena wants. Children is a question mark for Selena right now. I feel like that's just in her personal field. She may have said she wanted a family, but I feel right now she's questioning whether she actually does want children. In her heart she does, but she's questioning maybe whether that will actually happen. But the partner, definitely, I feel like in the next 2 to 3 years, definitely we'll see her settle down with this man. Children is still to be confirmed. You guys sent in so many good questions, so thank you for sending these in. I really do appreciate it. Interesting question. Will there ever be a fully independent artist who just takes over, or are labels forever influential? I feel like right now we're at the turn of seeing things change, and I feel like eventually we will see the death of labels as we know them. Not in its entirety, but as we know them. So you may still see some of the long-standing ones stay, like 1 or 2, but I feel like it will change. And what Spirit is saying to me is we're beginning to see it. So what you might start to see is a label, but that allows artists to be independent under that label. And I'm not sure how that works. And it won't just be one independent artist that makes that possible. It's all the independent artists that have decided to step out and do things on their own that have made that possible. Spirit is saying that in this day and age, you don't really need labels or big publishing companies. Even when it comes to books, they're saying you can go online and you can publish your own ebook right now. You could publish your own book. You've got social media. There's so much at your fingertips. We don't really need big labels or things like that anymore, because we're in a day and age where we can create things ourselves. Look, we're here on YouTube. Like, you can create a full movie on YouTube. You can also create a full album on YouTube as well. So I don't feel like labels will completely be diminished, but the way they work will definitely, I feel, will change. Will Drake ever settle down or have more children? I do feel instantly, Spirit, like, yes, for the more kids. I do feel more kids coming for him. I feel like his next child will be a daughter. There could possibly be a son after that. There's at least 2 more children, I feel, to come for Drake. Do I feel him settling down? I never, for as many times as I've read for Drake, I've never felt a settle down vibe. Would Drake like to settle down? Yes, but I don't feel it happening kind of anytime soon. Maybe in like 20 years when he's like 50, 60 and he's older, absolutely. And I could see him settling down with like a younger woman, but whilst he's like in his, what he would deem to be his prime, I don't see it. More kids, absolutely. And like I said, I do feel that the next child he has would be a little girl, and I feel like it may be with like an Insta model or someone like that, someone who models or is on social media for their work. How will Chloe from Chloe and Halle's solo career go? So this is interesting. I have read for Chloe, I think, on her own. I feel like right now Spirit is talking about a confusion in identity of what kind of artist she wants to be. Spirit is talking about Chloe having big diversity and the ability to actually create different types of music, and I feel like Chloe is into different types of music, from like classical to rock to musical to R&B, and I feel like she isn't very happy with, I feel like she started her career thinking she wanted to be a certain artist, like that R&B hip hop artist, and now she's kind of feeling like she wants to do something different. I feel like she'll be happy with her career. I don't feel like it's going to be massively big in terms of international popularity like may have been expected of her or people may have thought of her, but it's going to be a good career. I see a film coming in for Chloe. I don't know whether she's working on it now, but I do see some kind of film coming in for her. She wants to branch and do different things, and I feel like longevity will be in Chloe's career. She will have a long-standing career, but I don't feel it being like on a mass scale that people have compared her to Beyonce a lot, and I just feel like it's not going to be on that scale. It's just not going to be on that scale. But it will be a career that she's happy with, and I feel like there will be more music coming from her, and she, coming off the back of that independent artist question, may become an independent artist. I feel like a lot of people are realising being with a label was not the way forward, and I feel like she feels that's it. This is very similar to Normani. Very similar to Normani. These girls they want to put into a box to be like, you need to be this R&B queen. They did it with Britney Spears, and you know, any pop princess that came after Britney Spears, you know, they modelled on Britney Spears, so they made music like her, they dressed like her, all of that. And I feel like that's what's been done with Beyonce. Like, they're trying to model these girls on Beyonce. These girls want to be their own artists, and I feel like a lot of girls in the industry now are waiting for their contracts to end so they can get out, become independent artists and start making music in the way that they want to. On my camera it's saying 44 minutes left. I've got 44 minutes left of space, and Spirit is drawing me to 2024. I feel like in 2024 we're going to see a lot of these contracts end, and a lot of these girls are finally going to get to release the music they are working on right now as independent artists. You're going to hear it in 2024. So yeah, there's music to come from these girls, but they don't want to do it under the constraints that they are being put under by their labels and the boxes that they're being put into, and that goes for Chloe and Normani as well. How are ASAP Rocky and Rihanna doing? Oh, this is a nice question. How has being parents evolved them? How are the Super Bowl preps going? What inspired the Lift Me Up song by Rhi? And lastly, what is ASAP Rocky mainly working / focusing on career-wise? Love you, Kirsty, man, you're the best. Oh, thank you so much, love to you. Thank you for sending in your question. Okay, there's a lot of questions there. So, firstly, how are ASAP and Rihanna doing? I just feel like I want to go like this, like they're in a real bubble, but in a real strong team. They're both doing their part. I both see them very much doing their part. I feel like ASAP's a very hands-on father. Spirit is making me feel like he's changing nappies, diapers. He's making, you know, bottles. He's wanting to be a part of, you know, feeding, like that kind of thing. I feel like he definitely wants to be hands-on, and it's a real partnership that they've got going on. So I feel like they're really in like that newborn bubble. How has parents evolved them? Spirit is talking about learning new things about themselves and about life that they maybe didn't see before, and I'm laughing quite a lot because I feel like they are finding a lot of humour in it, and they're trying to make it a fun experience, because it can be stressful, you know, late nights, early mornings, sleep deprivation, all those things. But I feel like they are trying to laugh through it rather than cry through it. You know, I do feel there's moments where Rihanna may be snappy and be like, you know, but I feel like ASAP Rocky's quite understanding. I've talked about this before. I feel like he's got quite a feminine energy. He's able to understand feminine energy, and I feel like he can be like, you know, I understand that you're snappy, I understand that you're tired, and they are able to kind of work with each other in that way. So yeah, I feel like they're just learning a lot and laughing their way through it. How are the Super Bowl preps going? Okay, one thing I do want to say is Rihanna is tired and she's trying to balance a lot. I feel like she's working on a lot of things right now. Spirit is giving me 5 things, and I know Super Bowl, being a mum, Fenty, I feel like new music is one, but I feel like Rihanna also may be working on a movie as well. I feel like there's a lot, she's got a lot on her plate right now, so she's trying to juggle it all. I feel like there is a bit of like exhaustion there. Spirit is going like this, so I feel like she's got not a lot of time actually to work on the Super Bowl for some reason, and I feel like after she does the performance it's going to come out like, I threw this together in like this amount of time and this went wrong and I had to do it in this amount of time because I'm working on other things. Like, she's juggling a lot, and I do feel like pressure and stress with it. But again, there's that ability like of gratitude where like I know that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity and I'm gonna have fun with it. So I feel like she'll pull it together. It's fine, there's nothing to worry about there. And lastly, what inspired the Lift Me Up song by Rhi? So obviously Wakanda Forever, you know, I don't even feel like that's really something we need to channel. Obviously Lift Me Up was written for Wakanda Forever, obviously in respect and honour of Chadwick Boseman. Beautiful, beautiful song. And I feel like, you know, Rihanna really wanted to come back with something meaningful. I feel like Rihanna's got to a place, especially in her music career, where she doesn't have to do music. She just wants to do things that actually are purposeful and mean something to her. And I feel like for her, that was something that was really special and something she felt called to do. So, you know, that was the inspiration behind it. And lastly, what is ASAP Rocky mainly working on / focusing on career-wise? Ooh, there's a lot of investment going on from ASAP Rocky, like investing in businesses. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I am drawn to clothing with ASAP, so I don't know whether he's got his own clothing company coming out. I don't feel music with him at all. I feel like Spirit is showing me what I could say is like piles of coins, and they're being put into different places. And I feel like with ASAP, he's more focused now on being like a businessman and wanting to be involved in investment and business and finances rather than music. So that's what I feel with ASAP. This was a good question because I had just heard about this as well, and I'm curious about this as well. So someone said, no one seems to be curious about this, but it has me in a headlock. What's going on with Victoria Beckham and Nicola Peltz Beckham? I've heard so many contradicting things, like Victoria is a crazy mother-in-law, Nicola is a spoiled brat, and that Mark Anthony sang Victoria's praises during the couple's first dance. Would love to know what's going on there. Let's see. I don't feel that either of these women are particularly confrontational, or that either of them are B-I-T-C-H-Y. I don't think I can say that on YouTube. Bitchy, I'm gonna say it. I don't feel either of that coming from either of them, in all honesty. What I do feel is a difference in character, a difference in communication styles, a difference in approach, and a clash because of that. But I don't feel like it's because either of these women are nasty or they're mean or anything like that. I just feel like we've got two women who haven't communicated very well. And what's his name? Brooklyn? Is it Brooklyn Beckham, the husband? He's played a big part in that, because I feel like he hasn't really allowed these women to communicate very well. I will say there is sadness on Victoria Beckham's part, because I don't feel like she wanted her son to get married so young. I don't feel like this is the woman she would have chosen for her son. There just needs to be, do you know what, in life sometimes it's just a breakdown of communication, and I feel that it feels so simple here. It doesn't feel heated or anything like that. It's just there has been a complete breakdown in communication, where maybe through hearsay or people like gossiping, and then the wife, what's her name? Is it Chloe? No, that's his ex-girlfriend, isn't it? What's the wife's name? Nicola. Nicola hasn't felt safe to go to Victoria. Victoria has felt like, well, why should I reach out to her? Like, it's just like people being petty and communication breaking down. And that communication is everything in a relationship. If you don't have communication and you can't talk, you've got nothing. And I feel like that's really the case here. Like, they just need to be able to come together. But I feel like as time progresses, it will be fine. I do feel like a baby will be had by Nicola. I feel like it will be a boy. You know, I feel this relationship going quite the distance, and so it's something they're gonna need to come to terms with and get together and find peace on, and I feel that they will over time. It's just a clash of characters, a clash of communication, and it's just something they need to find some kind of common ground with. It's just something that's been completely blown out of proportion. And like you said, Mark Anthony sang Victoria's praises. There's other people getting involved here instead of these two just having a direct conversation. That's it. Will Normani release her album next year? Will she leave her label? As I said, I feel like as we move towards 2024, we're going to see a lot of female artists specifically finally getting out of their contracts, finally speaking the truth and being able... I feel like a lot of these females are making music right now, like just in their home studios and stuff like that, ready for when their contract ends so they can just put it out on social media. Because like Spirit said, we don't really need labels in the way that they are right now. You know, these girls already have platforms, so they can just put their music out and make money that way. And I feel like that is the case with Normani. I feel like she is waiting to do that. I feel like that's the case with Megan Thee Stallion, Doja Cat. A lot of these females are waiting to end contracts and are making music right now so that when those contracts end, they can just put the music straight out. How is the dynamic between Adele and Rich Paul? Interesting question. Now, a lot of you may not know this. I'm a massive, massive Adele fan. Have been forever. We share the same birthday. I love Adele. But I've never actually tapped into this, so this is interesting. What's the dynamic between Adele and Rich Paul? They're two very different people. Like, two very different people. But Spirit is saying that their values are very much the same. So, friends, family, home... privacy. Spirit makes me feel that they laugh together a lot, they have a lot of fun. Spirit is saying that they balance each other well because they're both very independent people who both really like to live their own lives. There's no codependency, Spirit is saying. It's very independent, which I believe is what makes a very successful relationship, is when you have two independent people who don't need each other. They want each other. They want to be together. Adele said it, and it really does feel that way. It is a healthy relationship. There's no codependency. There's no neediness. There's no insecurity. It's like two people that are both very secure in their own lives, very strong in their own lives, very independent in their own lives when it comes to money, emotions, all of that, who have decided to be together. And because of that, they started on a strong foundation, which has allowed them to build very successfully off that. I do see a baby coming for them. I do see it being a little girl. Possibly, again, drawing a lot towards 2024. Maybe the pregnancy in 2023, but the birth in 2024. I'm being drawn to the finger, so there is definitely a marriage. Possibly has already been an engagement. They will only show what they want to show. People have said, people are saying, and I've even said, this is very, very, Adele's been very, very public about this relationship, like being seen at basketball games and things like that. You would have never seen that before. But Spirit is saying she feels safe to do that because there is a security in the relationship that they have. The dynamic is that this is two, I'm not saying they're perfect, not at all. They definitely have their flaws, but they have a healthy, strong foundation, and they're strong within themselves to be able to work through the challenges. And I do feel this could go the long haul. This is like a longevity relationship. Will it be forever? I don't know. There's a question mark over that. But long haul, definitely. But there's a calmness and a peace and a safety that they're able to bring each other because they've both found that within themselves. Maybe Jesy Nelson and where she plans to go next. Does she regret the way things ended with the band? Jesy Nelson. Okay, so if you don't know, this is about Little Mix. There's a lot of pride that comes through with Jesy, whereas like it feels like I might inside know that I didn't end things correctly or my career hasn't gone how I wanted it to, but I'm not gonna voice that. I feel like that she's a bit embarrassed, if I'm honest. I do feel like there is new music to come next year from Jesy. Again, I'm going back to that whole thing. Jesy, lucky for her, Spirit saying, got dropped by her label. She didn't have to wait for the contract to end. So I feel like she has been working on music. I feel like there's an EP coming from her next year. Possibly, Spirit is talking about Christmas with her. So there could be an announcement coming up around Christmas. I feel like Jesy doesn't regret the way things ended because I feel like she is a person that does believe that everything happens for a reason. I feel like there is a spiritual aspect to her in that regard. But I feel like she isn't happy with the way her solo career has gone so far. She does wish sometimes that she could still be in contact with the girls. I feel like there is that period of grief, that emotion of grief that is there. But it's not like I wish things had ended differently because I feel like she trusts that things end the way they're meant to. But I do feel like there is regret about how her career launched. But I do feel like she's going to work to rebrand that. And I do feel like she's working on her own music as an independent artist. And I feel like we could hear that either towards the end of this year or next year. So that's interesting. And lastly, last question. Will Taylor Swift and Alwyn last? Okay. Very private relationship. So it's hard to get into the energy. There's longevity here. There's definitely longevity. I definitely feel an engagement as well. If that hasn't happened already, I'm not sure if it has. Will it last? See, this is, when you ask will someone last, it's such an open question because with Taylor and Alwyn, I feel like yes, it has longevity. So I'm talking like 5, 10, 15, 20 years here. I do feel like marriage could be on the cards for these two. But there is a feeling here from Spirit, like if they are to marry, it could end in divorce. So is it forever? That's a better question. Like, are they forever? I don't feel so. But are they for longevity? Yes. I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much to everyone that sent in questions. I have loved doing this, and I will do another. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you have got this far, leave below a star emoji to let me know. And if you haven't subscribed already to join our lovely community, please do so. We'd love to have you. And if you like your own personal and private reading with me, then you can book that over on my website only, which is www.kirstielewis.com. I have to say only because there are scammers out there, and it's not me. It's not me. You can only book a reading on my website. Thank you so much for watching today, lovelies. I really hope you enjoyed the readings, and I will see you soon for another video. Bye.